would you look at that? Just like magic, the weather is finally turned the next morning and it's perfectly sunny out. Gotta love that bipolar New England weather right there at its finest. But we're gonna go ahead and get into some things. We have got our subwoofer gaskets ready to go in order to cut out the subwoofer holes for our baffles. Got a couple questions in the previous comments from people wondering what the hell a baffle is. Well, quite simply, it's just the part of the box where the speakers are actually mounted to it. And that's why people tend to make them really thick. We chose to go 3 layers thick. We might even do 4. We're not quite sure right now, but we're gonna go ahead and get going here with our holes. We marked up yesterday, or at least in the last video, right behind the seat, which ended up being 22.5 inches, something like that, but it's gonna be trimmed up. Also got a couple questions, people wondering where the hell the port is. Well, it's actually gonna go right down the center here, simple as that, just like Frankenstein and just like the old van install. So it'll be similar territory. I'm gonna try to make it as simply as possible, but we gotta start with making these damn holes. First one down, you tubulus. We're definitely gonna need some upgrades on our jigsaw, but for the most part, she's rolling together smooth up towards the top. Now we just gotta do the second hole, which is basically just mimicking this same mirror image. Well, that was a lot harder than it seemed. I definitely think I need a new jigsaw blade. What do you guys think? Holy Moses, that's just unacceptable. So now we're gonna take this piece, weasel her in, and see what we're working with on the inside here. All right, let's rotate this piece. Here. Oh God. All right, I'm not gonna pull it up all the way because I have it just balancing perfectly. Oh, just got a message. If you can imagine these pieces right flush up to the edges there's obviously not gonna be that gap, but I have them balanced and perfect for this little video so we can just talk about it a little bit. The port's gonna go in just like Frankenstein. The baffle is gonna become part of the port length. I'm gonna have these other pieces fitting back to tune it. Plug in all these different angles and see what's what as far as taking away from volume, adding volume, and then I'm gonna plug that into Basebox Pro. I can always add some of that really light 7-ply wood that's 1.6 pounds per square foot right back here. I can step it out, like just imagine it coming out like this, and I can always change the port just like I did in Frankenstein. And yeah, so all right, let's go ahead and take these back out. It's a lot of going back in and out, in and out. Now we're just gonna go ahead and take our pen and trace out the inside cut, because that's gonna be just a little bit more, about 3/4 of an inch. So it's gonna be all but that much larger than this particular circle. Check them out, guys. All right, we got our lines all marked out, and all I did was just go over a little bit more than 3/4 of an inch. We got those pieces sitting right here, but I figured I'd update you guys before we do some of this cutting. We got the jigsaw. I know, I got the jigsaw, but what the hell? I'm working with what I got. It's been Old Faithful for a long time, so let's go ahead and see if she'll do another cut for me right here with this 18.5 inch circle. All mocked out, ready to go, and this groove is pretty deep. It actually tends to help this blade guide right along. That's sometimes why the holes look a little better than I could probably do it if I didn't score the wood so much. And I marked out these little X's here just to let myself know, do not cut that line. This is the cut line. This is gonna be all excess. I just wanted to pause the camera real quick because this is probably gonna be an interesting shot here because they're so close to the edge. You see that, how it's really, really close? I always imagined that I would probably cut about right here to right here and round those two pieces over, because I don't think this is gonna survive. So I figured I'd let you guys know beforehand. I think that's what's gonna happen, but I'm gonna set up the camera real close. Maybe we can get a cool little slow motion shot of what's gonna happen here. Well, shit. I'd say she just about survived it, you tubulus. Check it out. She survived. I mean, just a little casualty down here. Just a little tiny nick, if you can see it right here. But I can make that work. We'll see how it feels in the end if it's too springy. You know what I mean? But it might be nice just to glue it right against the box. But yeah, that was just kind of a fun thing to do real quick. There she is, YouTubulus, fitting great. The shadow is making it look a little bit smaller on this side, but it's looking real good. But that shadow is definitely making the video look a little off. I went and grabbed the gasket, and she is fitting nice and snug right here, just like that. So as you you can kind of get the idea that it's going to be nice and flat. Mounting it in this kind of thing, you can use this as a little ledge to prop it up in on. Instead of having to lift it up all yourself, you can use that as a little aid, so it comes in handy in more than one way than looks. Fast forward about 20 minutes later, and we got the other guy looking good, and we had a minor casualty on one of these, so I figured I'd go ahead and match it up. It happens oftentimes when you're doing baffle pieces like this for the flush mount. You can get an idea with that 7-inch port going down the 2 slots. You're gonna be tuning her pretty deep to begin with. Those lows have always appealed, so I just figured I'd give you a couple angles on this thing. Check it out. Looking spiffy. So now we're just gonna get these screws to rolling with tons of glue in between these layers. I'm gonna use Type Bond, not PL, because PL tends to expand and takes up a lot of space in between each layer. Both pieces are secured and looking good with tons of those SPAC screws. Man, that strength factor is definitely up there now, and she is dense as a motherfucker. And now we're just gonna take the palm sander and get these little edges looking real nice. We had a little bit of burnage from our dull blade, so we're gonna take that down, make her the tiniest bit smooth. I'm not gonna round over this edge, but I will the back side, the one that will be inside the subwoofer box. Let's get her rolling, guys. Just a brand new 120. Well, I figured I'd bring you guys through test fitting it in here because it's way too hard to do one-handed. So she basically just fits in here, and we're gonna wedge it up right flush. I'll have to do a little hammering. Get this side straightened out. And check it out, YouTubulus. That's how it's gonna be. We're gonna round over this edge right here right now. Then we'll be able to do the other one. Man, oh man, check it out, guys. Check it out. Woo! Oh my good word, you guys. I just couldn't help myself. Before rounding over those edges, I just went ahead and crammed the other one in there. Talk about symmetry, guys. I'm not trying to say I'm good at nothing or anything, but this particular project came together pretty good. I mean, shit, we were working with like a skill saw, jigsaw. We did a couple cuts on the table saw, the ones that were small enough, but obviously my fence only goes up to like 10 inches. And if you're wondering, up here, we're gonna be double layering all this because I wanna be able to come through the baffle this way without having that big extra thickness, and another layer right here. Like we already mentioned, as you can see, the flush mount worked out pretty good. Coming up flush with this piece, the gasket can fit perfectly right in there. Well, the subwoofers can fit in there with their gaskets on. That's what I meant to say. All right, we got the backside all sanded. Looking nice, just enough to take that sharp edge down. Port's gonna start and go in like that, so I need to add a little bit of a round over. That's why I put my screws just the tiniest bit right over from the side. So let's go ahead and remove that material with our round over bit here. Just a nice little unit we've been using. You're probably wondering, why the hell didn't I cut my circles out with the router? Well, I just don't have that circle jig, but I will get another one. Alright, there she is. The roundovers are completed on both of them, and I'd say she's coming together real good. And I also have the roundovers on the opposite side. We're getting killed with the exposure, but damn guys, there she is, looking better and better. check it out. We got the filler here ready to go. We got the remnants of what we had left from our contours, so now we're gonna start getting down and dirty. Just cram that stuff right in there and call it good. That's all we need right there, is fill up those holes. But this is kind of the boring stuff. You guys know what it's like. I'm just going psh, 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 right down to the surfaces, nice and clean. That second layer really made a big difference with the pinholes, and she is nice and ready for some paint. Well, I think I'm gonna paint it, probably gonna paint it. White, orange, who the hell knows? I'm thinking white though. Go ahead and slap a comment right below. Tell me your feedback on what color you think would look best here. My camera battery's about to die, you tributous. So I figured I'd come at you here. It's getting a little later. I think we're gonna go out to dinner tonight, have a little something to eat. But guys, check it out. The freaking little roundover's looking great. She's fitting in perfectly. I couldn't be any happier, guys. And like, you can already kind of hear resonance to her too, without even the length of the port in there. Oh boy. So now let's call it quits for today. Next thing we gotta do is plug in all this stuff to Bakesbox Pro and see what we're working with for tuning. That's all gonna be another video though. Alright guys, until the next one, this is EXO signing out. Woo!